Hello, students. Welcome to another episode of Women of Family, Home, and Social Sciences. Today we have with us Maggie Mecham. Maggie, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. What we like to do at the very beginning of all of our webinars is to have a brief bio of who you are and what it was that drew you to want to interview with me today.
Yeah, thank you. So my name is Maggie Mecham. I graduated in April of 2021 in the School of Family Life. I currently am a liaison for BYU NAMI Club with NAMI Utah. I'm very passionate about mental health awareness, and suicide prevention and interventions. I think it's really important for me to share that I'm a non-traditional student. I'm going on 40 years old. When I started, it was back in 2019 is when I finally came back for my final time at BYU. And I think it's also important for anybody, male, female, to know that regardless of what age or what circumstances, you are able to follow your dreams.
I love that. And that was actually one thing, Maggie, that drew me to you, is that you have this really fantastic story. And a lot of our students will find value in understanding how you were able to kind of make that work. So thank you so much for sharing that bio. Maggie, the first question I have for you is, could you share with us maybe some of the reasons why you've pursued a career and the benefits that it brings to you?
Yeah, so the reason why I went into the mental health field is so that people living with mental health conditions can feel that they can live a successful life with their conditions and pursue their dreams. And it takes a lot of hard work, but with proper treatment and resources, it is possible. And so my ultimate goal is to become a trauma therapist, hopefully having my own free clinic to offer those resources.
That is fantastic. Thank you so much. You mentioned that you are or were a non-traditional student. Can you tell us about the challenges that you faced when you returned to school?
Yeah, so one of the biggest challenges is um, when I started back in 2019, I went spring term and I took a very academic rigorous class. I took Stats 121. So anyone in BYU, that's a very hard class to take in a regular semester. And I did it my spring term. And I didn't realize I didn't have the I didn't remember how to study correctly, or time management skills wasn't I wasn't back into that rhythm of school of where you study and time management, and able to be really successful in that type of class in such a short period of time. So that was one of my biggest challenges. I also have a lot of health conditions, and so sometimes that requires some accommodations, and being able to navigate that with professors and realizing there's nothing wrong with that was a little bit of a challenge at first, but then I was able to kind of figure out my own journey and was able to successfully graduate.
That's fantastic. If you don't mind me asking, I know this wasn't in our questions, but what were some of the resources that you were able to use on campus to help facilitate your success?
Yeah, so one of the big ones is the accessibility office here at BYU. It's UAC. They are a great resource for anybody that has any learning disability, a mental health condition, dyslexic, um, wide range of disabilities. They're really very helpful, making sure you can get the right accommodations for your class, be it taking tests in a quiet place or splitting your test, having a couple of days extra for assignments and things. And so that was a big thing for me, was getting connected. And it took me a little while to figure out that resource at BYU.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. I think that one of the great things about BYU is that it does have a lot of resources, but it's also a pitfall because there's so many resources. So the fact that you're able to find something that worked for what you needed to be successful is a really big deal. So thank you so much for sharing that. So what skills do you think you brought with you as you pursued school as a non-traditional student?
Yeah, so as a non-traditional student, I came back, like I said, in 2019. I have a 14-year-old son who's been diagnosed with autism. And one thing I learned as a non-traditional student coming in is it's okay to ask for help. I think a lot of times freshmen come in thinking, this is BYU, it's a really hard school, and I have to do it on my own. But that's so not the case. Your professors, different departments, Office of First Year, for example, for freshmen or transfer students, UAC, CAPS, your academic advisors, they're all there to help you succeed. And I think the biggest thing is to realize there's nothing wrong with asking for that help. Um, Once you get through that barrier of saying it's okay to ask for help, it makes a lot of things much easier. And so coming into it with my own health challenges and my son's, that's what you have to do. Navigating outside of school is asking for a lot of different resources and help. And so I kind of took that upon me as a BYU student.
Yeah. And I'm really glad that you said that because I actually meet with a lot of students that say that the hardest thing for them to do is to ask for help, but some of them don't even really know the kind of help that they need to ask for. And so sometimes when you're going into these different places, and it sounds like you're able to figure this out, when you're going into these different places and just saying, I'm not really sure how you can help me, but here's what I feel like I need, or here's what I feel like I'm struggling with. And then luckily, BYU's community is such that we know about each other and we know where we can help students. So I really love that idea of not being afraid to ask questions if it means that in the end you get the help that you need, you know?
Yes, absolutely. Start with your professors. That's the one thing that I really loved about the School of Family Life is um, they're all there for you to succeed and um, go to their office hours and talk to them.
Yeah. So aside from your schooling and your pathway into schooling and finding success in your degree, what or how rather does your family support your aspirations from schooling to beyond?
So my family is actually really supporting. My husband is a software developer for Qualtrics, so he's really stable in his career. Um, he's been out of school since 2006, so that's been really helpful for me. My son now is 14, so he is kind of able to take care of himself more or less. Um, and he's busy with school and things like that. So now was the perfect time, or when I came back, was the perfect time to start focusing on what I wanted to do and reaching my dreams. So my husband is there supporting me sometimes at night when I'm up late, like everybody else, studying for midterms, writing papers. He's read several of my papers for grammar mistakes, things like that. And just knowing that it's hard, but you can get through it. And if you get a bad grade on grade, it was great for him and my rest of my family to say, it's okay, you're going to get through it. It's not the end of the world. Um, and you're going to do a good job at it.
It's so nice having that family support when you're going through that. And I know that there are a lot of students that may not have that. And so just to expand a little bit, where else have you turned aside from professors maybe and your family? Do you feel like you socially connected with other individuals or are socially connecting with other individuals to give you the kind of support that you need?
Absolutely. When I was at BYU, I was part of the BYU NAMI club chapter. Um, it's a really good place for um, to learn about different mental health conditions. I don't know if you're familiar with NAMI. It means National Alliance of mental illness. We have a chapter here in Utah, and there's a college chapter at BYU that I got invested in, and it's a great group of students that just want the best for everybody, providing positive mental health skills. So that's how I got socially connected, and through that, I was able to kind of get broader out to different departments and meet um, like CAPS and things like that. So with our organization, we put on forums and stuff, so you do get connected with the other departments and other students, like ADHD club and things like that. So it's been really
That's
beneficial.
That is so amazing that you've been able to make all those connections through the organization. And so it feels to me like you had a very holistic support system. And even after school, it seems like too that that is still something that you're very much a part of.
Yes, I'm so connected to BYU a lot. I am the liaison for the BYU NAMI chapter. I I do a lot of work with NAMI Utah, so I started that last year. I'm kind of like the middle person to making sure that BYU NAMI gets the support they need from NAMI Utah, and so it's been a really great experience coming from a student to moving into a non-student, kind of that administrator role with the club. It's a great club. They really care about the students at BYU and letting them know they're not alone in any of their struggles with mental health or any, yeah, with their mental health conditions or anything else. They're here to support you.
That's so great. So what would you recommend to someone interested in returning to school or even re-entering the workforce?
So the biggest thing from when I started is to give yourself a lot of grace and to set up like a self-care routine. When you start school, you think I have to study 24/7 and not focus so much on your individual self, but your school self. Making sure, you're taking time away from that, like step back, to check in with yourself, like do a mental check-in every day, see how you're doing, or making sure you're reading a book at night that you enjoy, watch a show to like something. What I do is weekly is I like have a favorite dinner or dessert, and then monthly do like massage or nails, just something to get out of that space and realize that you have to take care of yourself, because if you're not doing well yourself, your academics will struggle.
Yeah.
And also give yourself grace when you're first starting, you're coming back. If you're coming back from BYU from a leave a couple years ago, it might be a totally different program or a different atmosphere. So allow yourself some time to, get used to where you're at now. And it's okay. It might take a semester, but you'll get there and you'll do great.
Thank you. I think a lot of people probably need to hear that right now. So I'm really appreciative that you would say that. The last question that I have for you is about shame. You identified wanting to answer this question. And so the question is there something you could share to help us get out of a shame culture, specifically how you view other women, working moms, or working in general?
So I think the shame culture unfortunately has expanded. Even though that women in the workforce has been there for decades, I think people are now noticing it more and more. The way I look at it is it's a family and individual decision. One is not better than the other. Like if you're a stay-at-home mom, that's a full-time job in itself. And I hope they look at it as such that they are contributing just as much as people in the workforce. And there should be no shame culture. We should all support each other in the roles that we have chosen for ourselves and our family. And as a collective group, if we're going to get away from any kind of negative culture, we have to kind of come together and support our roles, whatever those are, and whatever we choose. And so,
Great.
yeah.
Thank you so much. And so I know that I said that was the last question, but I did have one other one. Is there anything else that you would feel or that you feel would empower our female students to pursue whatever they choose post-graduation, whether it's fulfilling grad school, staying at home, part-time or full-time opportunities?
You said part-time, sorry.
Sure. Yeah. Is there anything else that you would like to share with our women who want to pursue whatever they choose after they graduate?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's important to follow your dreams. Obviously have discussions with your spouse or, you know, but don't allow negative anything get in the way. If you don't get into your number one grad school, keep trying. There's different grad schools for what you're wanting to achieve. If you don't get that one job that you wanted, there's another one. There's always a reason, I believe, for that. I am a huge Walt Disney fan, and my favorite quote is, "Well, laughter is timeless, imagination has no age, and dreams are forever." So as you're just graduating from BYU, just remember that the age doesn't matter. What you do with your degree, either, you know, if you're a stay-at-home mom, that will be come in handy with your kids or out in the career field. You are a person that is worth it and successful, and that's all that matters. And just kind of keep the negative aspects of what you hear every day out of your thought patterns.
Great. Well, Maggie, thank you so much for being here and for sharing the things that you've learned. My hope is that students in similar situations will be able to figure things out with the advice that you've given. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.